In this video, we will learn how to find the pH levels of water samples using pH meters. pH is the quantitative measure of the acidity or basicity of aqueous or other liquids. It is based on the presence of hydrogen ions in water, which ordinarily ranges from about 1 and 10 raised to negative 14 moles per liter and translates into numbers between 0 to 14. From the figure, water samples with pH 7 are considered to be neutral. These are basically pure water. Water samples or liquids with a pH level of less than 7 are considered to be an acid or acidic. On the other hand, water samples and liquids with a pH level of greater than 7 are considered to be basic or base. Although there are acids with negative pH values and bases with pH greater than 14, we consider these values between 0 to 14 because that is the limit of the available measurements that we can use. We can have negative pH values and bases with pH greater than 14 when we use the formula for the pH level of water samples using the molarity of hydrogen ions in water. And it is given by pH is equal to the negative log of H plus, where log is the base 10 logarithm and H plus is the hydrogen ion concentration in moles per liter. So from the table, we have here your H plus as the molarity of hydrogen ions or the concentration of hydrogen ions in moles per liter from 10 raised to 0 or 1 and 10 raised to negative 14. And if you input these values of molarity inside the pH level formula, you will have a value equal to 0 and 14. For liquids with molarity of hydrogen ions equal to 10 raised to negative 7, you will have a pH level of 7, and that is considered to be a neutral water sample or neutral pH. The term pH was first coined by the Danish biochemist Søren Peter Lauritz Sørensen in 1909. pH is an abbreviation for power of hydrogen, where P is short for the German word for power, potens, and H is the element symbol for hydrogen. How do we measure pH? There are basically three types of measurement of the power of hydrogen. The first one is using the pH meter, which involves a pH-sensitive electrode, usually made of glass, and a reference electrode. This is what we will demonstrate in this video. We can also use litmus paper and pH paper for quick, relative, imprecise measurements. And these are strips of paper that have been treated with an indicator. We will submerge these strips into the water sample and then compare it with this table here in the figure. And from there, we can obtain the pH level of the water sample. And lastly, we can use a calorimeter to measure the pH of a sample, wherein a vial is filled with a specimen and a reagent is added to produce a pH-dependent color change. The color is compared against a chart or standard to determine the pH value. Now let us relate the pH level of waters or water samples into its water quality. The use of excessively high and low pH levels can be harmful. High pH causes a bitter taste. Water pipes and water-using appliances become encrusted with deposits, and it lessens the effectiveness of the disinfection of chlorine, as we can see in the figure on our left. These white deposits are surrounding the inside of our pipe, and it is clogging the way of your water in the pipes. On the other hand, low pH water or acidic waters will corrode or dissolve metals and other substances, as we can see in the figure on our right. Pollution can change a water's pH, which in turn can harm animals and plants living in the water. For instance, water coming out of an abandoned coal mine can have a pH of 2, which is very acidic. Now let's move to finding the pH level of water samples using the pH meter. For this experiment, we will need the following materials. Of course, the water sample. We also need a 50 ml beaker and our pH meter or pH tester. Let us check the contents of our pH meter. We have your manual, the switch, and the display where it will automatically display the pH levels, the limit of the water level for it to read the pH level. Now moving to the procedure of the experiment, the first step is to pour your water sample into the 50 ml beaker. Remove the cap of the pH meter, turn it on, check that the display is already turned on. Now, submerge your pH meter or water sample up to the limit. Observe your pH meter display while it is submerged in the water sample until it no longer changes its value. And that is your pH level reading. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell.